And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 13th round of the SimRacingHub F1 Championship on RFactor2. You're live on GTCQ TV, and this round is brought to you by Color Magic Printing. We are live at Monza, Italian Grand Prix, iconic track. And leading the championship right now by 11 points is Josh Mills for the Red Bull team. He has 11 points over Argenis Riera from the Aston Martin Aramco team, who won the last race, by the way, comfortably installed in third position, Janos Magasrevi, with great performances over the week. So he's comfortably in third position with a lot of points over the fourth position, occupied by Glenn Cooper. And following in fifth is teammate Otto Acosta with just 8 points behind his teammates. So this should be hot between the two McLaren drivers. Usually alongside me, Mr. Matt Hartley. Matt is with me, and we're going to have fun tonight. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and I don't have my Ferrari shirt on because I don't own one.
Really? Shame on you.
My entire family, because we used to be, I was a McLaren supporter, I still am. My entire family switched with Hamilton, and they're devastated that they're going to have to buy Ferrari gear next year. So it's definitely going to throw a wrench. That's why you don't follow a team, guys. You'd follow a team and not a driver, because the drivers can obviously change around. So yeah, at Monza, happy to be here. My favorite circuit, as we discussed a little bit a while ago. Glad that we're not in Sochi, and hopefully going to see some curbs use, some overtakes. There's going to be lots of DRS, and it's going to be wild tonight. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, we just last week we often say last week, but it's not last week. It's usually last round, which is 2 weeks ago. But now it is last week, and we had a decent race in Zandvoort, but it's not a circuit that is prone to have a lot of overtakings. By the way, it's made pretty much like Hungaroring, or I wouldn't say like Monaco, but close. Now we got a track, Matt, that will provide us with a lot of slipstream, a lot of overtaking chances. So I heard, we talked just a little bit before the round, and you mentioned there should be a lot of crashes or incidents.
There definitely could be a little argy-bargy today.
Okay.
Obviously with the DRS and the draft and fast, long straights, it's going to close up the gaps. I mean, you're looking on the times on the board right now between Argenis Riera and Josh Mills is 0.065 of a second on the hot lap right now. So definitely not going to be a 1 second gap in qualifying here between Riera and the field. So it's definitely going to be entertaining, interesting, and it's a marathon, not a sprint, this race, because you're not going to lead the whole way through if you don't break the DRS. And sometimes it's just okay to let the guy go past you, as crazy as that might sound, because, there's still 53 laps to go. So 3.6 miles, the fastest circuit on the calendar. Not many turns. Overall, it says 11 turns. It feels like there's about 4 turns, to be honest with you. First chicane, second chicane, Lesmo, Ascari, Parabolica. Basically, it feels like
there is a turn between Lesmo 2 and Ascari on my track layout. Yeah.
No.
Yes, there is. So it's going to be another Variante Bassa type, or let's say the Red Bull Ring, that second corner. That is not really a corner, but we're not going to count it as a corner, or we just might, like we did in Imola.
What is it with these Italian tracks and making up corners that don't exist?
I don't know. Seriously, it's just I think they were shy. Because usually Monza used to be just one corner, one long corner, but now they were shy of corners, so they decided to put one where there isn't. But it's still, I think with 11, you still got more corners than Red Bull Ring, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, so, it's a better circuit than Red Bull Ring, 100%.
Yeah, but it's your favorite track, you say? So yeah, because we I don't know, we had a few statistics that came into play, and I would like to point out that you got decent result. 12th, 7th, 18th, 19th. What happened there? Third, 3.
There we go. See, 2017.
3, 4. Okay, so
it was COVID. That's what happened. As soon as COVID happened. So, but no, 2017, the good old days. I wasn't single, but I don't even think I was married at that point. No kids. Not a care in the world, except what do I run? Positive camber, negative camber. And actually, you can insult me, but I got a podium that day. And the last time that Argenis Riera won this race was back in 2017. So me and him were linked in every way.
All right.
So, let's see whether he can have a good result. If Riera wins tonight, we'll just assume that I would have come second.
Yeah, well, congrats on that. And yeah, this is a track where if something happens, if you mess up in this particular game, you don't have safety cars, so there's like no way to redeem yourself. Compared
one of those
to a real life situation.
One of those 18th place finishes could have been upside down in the grandstand. So
exactly.
Sometimes those things happen. Hopefully, we'll avoid some crashes today. But either way, we're going to put on a good show. And we're happy to have our partners, Color Magic Printing, here once again with us for the show. We remind you that they offer a multitude of printing options for their customers, from a single color letterhead to a fully customized magazine. The workflow process has been engineered for unrivaled production times without sacrificing quality. So visit them at colormagic.biz.
Yeah, I plan on making myself a few posters with special images like Ferrari, Gilles Villeneuve, stuff like that. Well, thank you for Color Magic Printing, still our sponsor for this race. We had a few statistics for the other drivers. So we know that Riera, Montero, and Acosta are tied with 2 pole positions on this track. Montero and Acosta tied with the most wins, 3 on this track. So Otto Acosta has no wins this year, but he might be in the mix tonight. So as you say, we never know what's going to happen with this track. Also, some mishaps happen to our protagonists, Josh Mills and Riera. So we might have a surprise winner today. And as you say, if you can keep your car in the slipstream, you have a good chance of winning, or just like keeping a good position. This should be maybe just a one stopper because the tires are not, the tire deg is not immense here. It's not aggressive, so we might just see that. So also maybe tire strategies will come into play. So we should have a very interesting race, very exciting race with a lot more overtakings that we had at Zandvoort.
Definitely. And I think the rain at Zandvoort made things a little bit more interesting. There's no rain on the forecast today. Doesn't rain in Italy. So, we know it doesn't rain in Italy because it didn't in Imola. Remember, we were waiting for it and it never came.
You're right.
So
you're right.
Even on the game, whoever designed the game must be Italian because no rain in Italy. But yeah, we're going to have a good race here tonight. There's going to be lots of overtaking. There might be some crashes. One of the danger places, obviously excluding turn 1 and the first lap, one of the main danger places that we will possibly see somebody in the wall tonight is coming out of the second Lesmo corner, because you can get just a little bit wide, kick it round, and end up on the inside wall. So we expect somebody to take a visit to that wall today. And it should be an interesting race. I think the tires is going to be interesting because the tires are not wearing very much. So guys are going to want to use the softs. But then the challenge becomes, can you go soft medium, or can you have to go soft hard? So it's going to be tight whether guys can go soft and then onto the mediums. They're going to need to go 20 laps probably on the softs in order to make that work. And I don't know, it's a little bit tight. So we'll have to see.
Well, you mentioned RG Bargy. The first corner here, it's like a funnel. Everybody wants to, you want to gain positions as much as you can, but it's super dangerous. You don't want to yield to, don't want to break too early in order to let other people rough you up some positions. It's super tight. Now, we know that they changed a little bit of the layout on the real track for the real Formula Grand Prix. We don't have that tonight. So do you think these drivers, because, we know they talk before the race, do you think they're going to do the same thing like in 2001 and just plan to not overtake in turn 1 and 2? Or their team leader will do exactly like the team leaders did in 2001 and tell them, no, you're racing and you're not doing such an idea?
I think it's a nice thought to go in with, I'm just going to try and get round turn 1 until all of a sudden you see a gap on the inside and your eyes light up like a Christmas tree and the pupils dilate, and all of a sudden you're like, I could win the race right here. So
Yeah, exactly.
the inner racing driver is always going to come out of you, and I'm sure you feel this. The second that those lights go out, things are different, right? Yeah, the rest of everything that's going on in your life goes away for an hour and a half, and all of a sudden you become this different guy. So we'll see. I mean, OTTO never usually afraid of getting his argy-bargy arms out, and he's won this race 3 times. So who's to say what the right way and the wrong way is to get round?
Well, yeah, OTTO 2022 and 2021 is the winner. Last year it was Josh Mills that won the Grand Prix, Zeke Montero in 2020, and Acosta won in 2019, so pre-COVID. So that's the last 5 years winners. Riera's no winner here in the past 5 years. He has one in 2017 only, and there's a certain Corey Mackey in 2015 that I do not know. So this track, yeah, you mentioned it. Personally, turn 1 is always a turn that I want just to nail okay, just try to keep my distance close from the second position and going to the second chicane. And personally, in this track, I'm always trying to set myself up for an overtake either at the Parabolica or the start-finish straight, as the drivers are getting ready for the quali, by the way.
Yep, Riera will be the first man out, and no great surprise on that one. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely, you can pass in a lot of places here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not what I'm saying. It's just like, if you're a patient driver, sometimes you just want to keep that distance for the slipstream, and maybe after a Ascari, just bring it there to have an overtake at the Parabolica, or even better, if it's not the last lap of the race, keep yourself for a nice overtaking before turn 1 because it's such a long straight, and then there you can keep your position and defend easily.
100%. So we'll see exactly what happens today, and the key thing is going to be making a decision when these drivers are close to making a pass either into turn 1 or Parabolica. You have to be able to make the pass quite comfortably, and the driver next to you has to know that you're going to make the pass. That's the thing. Even if sometimes you're trying to stay close, you can't bump draft, but if you're trying to stay close with your teammate and play the slipstream game, you can still, trip over each other quite easily. Yeah. Speaking of bump drafting, have you ever seen the highlight of the single-seater car? I don't know if it was GP2 or Formula 3 or one of those cars where one of the guys actually did a bump draft down the start-finish straight here and physically pushed the car in front. It's wild. Absolutely crazy.
Oh, I don't recall that. I recall Lance Stroll in F3 going airborne. But we can talk about it a little later, but I'm on board right now with Riera, who is about to start his hot lap in the Parabolica. Actually, it's the Variante Michele Alboreto now, but we'll kind of call it the Parabolica. So, Matt, do you mind just getting with us in this lap and describing us the track from your insights?
Sure. 337 kilometers an hour. We're going to brake about 80 meters before the corner, hit that first curb, just kiss it, kiss the second curb. Beautifully done. No wheel spin on the exit. Already through the gears into 6th gear, 7th gear. Easy flat around this turn, and then we're going to go into the chicane. One of my favorite corners. This you have to get it right. Brakes super late. Again, clip a lot of the curb. Beautifully done. Use all of the curb on the outside. Now the first Lesmo, great corner. Again, get as close to that curb as you can. Easily put on the power. This is the dangerous one. There's a dip on the curb. You got to really get in there. You see how close these drivers use. They really do get to the limit because you have to. That was your favorite turn. We missed it because it's not really a turn. And into the Ascari chicane. Quick left, little bit of curb. You can use the curb all the way on the right and then a quick flip over to the left. Easily done. It makes it seem so easy when you're on board with these drivers, but it really is not, especially when you're running almost minimum downforce. 327 kilometers an hour. Again, you've got to really get that nose in very early on the power for Argenis Riera. Coming up to the start finish straight, getting right across the line, and we'll see what time he manages to do.
18.7 and Mills 18.8. So look how close that is.
And Mills probably got a bit of a draft from Riera because he's not far behind him. And Riera still manages to beat Mills on that first run, but it's really close, and OTTO pops himself into third spot.
Yeah, so we won't see that big of a gaps from the drivers. And you mentioned the draft. We don't see that in other tracks, but in this track, usually, and we see that in real life, in the real Formula One Grand Prix, drivers are trying to wait on other drivers to get draft, and that led to a pretty sketchy situation. I think it was in 2019 where all the drivers but one, I think that was Charles Leclerc, who managed to cross the start-finish line before time was up, and they couldn't do their hot lap at the end, and that was like such a catastrophe, and that didn't look good.
No, that was a bad few minutes for Formula One, no doubt about that. Janos Magosrevi has put himself in third. Now, Janos, he's been giving me a little bit of tood because I've been saying that he's not the rightful number one Mercedes driver.
Yeah, well, you were looking for that. I mean,
and that's all of a sudden why he pulls my stats of my results. So I see what's going on here.
Get it? Okay, so. Okay,
and then he comes around and turns to me and says, Montero's going to be hard to beat tonight. He's really quick around here. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's a numpty who's the number one driver in the team. I'm just saying Zeke Montero can challenge Magosrevi for the lead driver of that team. But right now, Magosrevi has the chips.
Hey, by the way, Matt, we got some friends on the live right now. So we got Marty Simon from the FR podcast. Always great to have him on board. He's got the best Formula One French-speaking podcast available on Spotify and all the other platforms. So look it up if you understand French. And if you don't understand French, use a translation device. And other than that, we got my good friend Darren Brady, my teammate in Gran Turismo, but I don't race much nowadays, so he probably misses me and wants me to come back race. But I'll come back, Darren. Don't worry about it. It's just summer, so I don't race much during the summer. But school is about to start, and I'm usually racing during school period. So he's the slender churro for those who have. He describes a few races with me. So the slender churro, aka Darren Brady. Nice to have you on board, man.
So watching Mills, and he is giving himself a big gap between Riera, so there's no games as Riera is going to go again for another run. I want to go on board with Josh Mills this time because obviously we got to catch up 1 point or 1/10.
Yeah, not much.
Not much at all.
Almost a tenth and a half, but I mean,
let's see how easy this lap is compared to Riera, because Riera looked like he had lots and lots of room to give. Riera, remember, was hitting 337 kilometers on straight. Mills a little bit slower, 334, 335, not much in it. Mills, he really into the chicane.
He almost lost it entirely.
He did get it slowed down quite well, but you saw the rear kick out, so I think, Mills is already maybe back.
Yeah, that might have cost him like maybe 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, it looks like he's in this lap. So he's going to go again. But Mills, it was interesting. The rear of his car was what stepped out. So he's obviously got the brake bias right to the back, probably just for qualifying, because if you use the brake bias too far to the rear in the race, you're going to use the rear tires, which rear tires wear quicker than the front ones do. So I think he's probably just got a qualifying optimal setup here, trying to catch up to Riera. And that time, the brakes bit him. So let's go on board with somebody else. Magosrevi's going to start a lap.
Yep.
He's got a bit of traffic. He's coming on the front straight. Let's see what speed he's got. 337, nice and fast. Really, really late. You heard the gearbox screaming out for pain as Magosrevi really aggressive on the downshifts, which you can be in qualifying, but you got to be careful in the race.
Well, speaking of Riera, you said there was a little more room to give. I noticed that at Parabolica, he could have done a little bit faster. But in Lesmo 2, he really went to the limit. He was almost in the same.
Yeah. So we'll see what he does. Watch him, Magosrevi.
Good,
yeah, he's throwing it around this track, but he's hitting it nice. He got in the little... Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Got his nose just in that little bit of the dip there, which obviously unsettles the car, but it flings it around nicely. So long as you don't lose the car too much, it's risk versus reward in the race. In qualifying, you go for it. He took a lot of curb on the inside of the Ferrari.
Well done at Ferrari as well.
Now he's got some great, he's got some great slipstream here. but they got to get out of the way.
Yeah.
They're not going to get out of the way. Oh,
that's bad. That's bad from Del Castillo. He should have, because that gives Magus Revi not anything but the racing line.
And that.
But he improved. Look,
and it was good because Elise Tape actually jumped Magus Revi, and then Magus Revi took that spot right back from him. So disappointing for sure, but he does improve. At the end of the day, I don't think it cost him 0.3 of a second.
That's what I was wondering, actually. How much did that cost him? Because he could have had the racing line and maybe get close to that 0.3 that cost him. Seriously,
I think the distraction part of it is probably as much as the actual time, because Parabolica is one of those strange turns where you can actually go. You don't want to go that narrow into it, but you can go a little bit more narrow into it, because if you wait to turn in too late, you can actually find yourself missing the apex and sliding out wide. So it should have only cost him 0.1 of a second. He's back in his rightful third position, as he always is. Lise Tape's back up to fourth. He's hoping to last longer than 20 seconds, which he did last round.
Oh, yeah, right.
And also, we should mention, back in the series, Richard Walcott in the Ferrari. Just because, obviously, you drive a Ferrari, you can't miss Monza, right?
Oh, of course not. There's no way Tifosi will forgive you if you do that. But we got 19 drivers right now, so we're missing one. Trying to figure out who we're missing right now.
Let's take a look who we have.
Riera's still on a hot lap here, but he's got the pole by 0.4 of a second right now. So he did his he did a pretty decent hot lap.
So it's
Mills has slipstream, I think, from his team. No, that's Glenn Cooper.
It's going to be Shepard that we're missing, by the way.
Okay, so Mills is it Ascari? Looks like he's suffering from dirty air, but he's in slipstream.
No, yeah, he's going to get a nice tow so long as he gets out of the way, which this time they do very nicely. He throws it into the last corner. Now, Riera with a beautiful 18.4, so this is going to have to be something. No, he's going in the pits.
No, okay, aborted. Zeke Montero, what he's up to is in 6th position. He has a 19.2. Look at the difference between Tate, Acosta, and Montero. That's 10 thousandths of a that's 10 thousandths of a second between 3 positions. And 2 tenths
between 3rd and 9th. So, yeah, that's the Monza for you. Welcome,
exactly.
Monza.
I kind of like that. Oh, we got no specifics in the chat. Finally, I think we missed her. I think she hasn't been here for like two races or something. Or it felt like 2 races.
For sure. I mean, it was we missed the last week, and you can use that last week because it actually was last week.
Yeah, exactly, last week.
So that's it. And one thing I want to note is we have the whole field in an Aston Martin sandwich, because we have Argenis Riera at the top and Ricciardo Senior at the bottom.
Well, he has no time. What happened with Ricciardo Senior? Let me point out that unfortunately Ricciardo Senior hasn't been the best wingman this year, because I don't think he has any points, or barely. I mean, he might have been just once in the points for his teammate, which is unfortunate, because Red Bull Racing is leading the team championship by 75 points, or 78. Sorry, 78 points. If I'm reading correctly, and Aston Martin's in 2nd, and he's not really participating to that that point gathering. So
while we were talking about that, Riera improved to an 18.298 just for the sake of it,
for a good measure.
Yeah. So he just couldn't. Sometimes when you're on a lap and it's a good lap, you just want to finish it. Just let him finish the lap, guys. Come on.
That's a statement. I mean, it's
now everybody's watching him drive around to the garage, sitting there being like, oh. So it wasn't a 1 second gap; it was 0.6 though. So that's pretty. That round Monza.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Again, because you don't have those, all these tight corners or tough corners where you can really get those, occasions to improve your lap time compared to the others can nail it. But you saw him again, very much in control. His car is so stable. You haven't seen him wiggle on the right or on the left. I mean, it's really going straight, and the car drives like he wants it to be. So I think that's the good thing with Riera. He really knows how to set up his car, and that gives us almost a perfect lap every time.
Yeah,
But
and he
yeah,
did it with low wing because he had Magus Revi was quick on the straight too, but Riera looked like he was a little bit quicker on the straight. So that's the thing about Riera's car is it looked like he had lots of grip and lots of downforce on, but he looked like speed would suggest that he's running almost on the minimum. So very impressive once again from Riera. A few other impressive performances. Lise Tape. P4, and Otto Acosta P5, beating Montero, as we said. Montero's quick around here, so anytime you're able to beat him in qualifying, it's great. Glenn Cooper, P7, back in the mid-range of the points, which is where he belongs. With Bill Worrell still in the top 10. He's been pretty much in the top 10 most of the year. And one guy, Tony Mitzalis, P11. I don't know if Tony's gonna know where to line up. I don't.
Yeah, we haven't seen him that much up front. And yeah, you're right about Mitzalis. But last year he qualified 16th. But I'm looking at the result from last year, and I had a question about that because we see Riera got the pole with a 19.2, so they improved the lap times by a mere 1 second this year. Magus Revi was second and Mills third last year. And my question is the following one, because we got the C3 to C5 spec tire for this race, which are the softest. Now you see the quality time from last year, and in 6 you got Otto Acosta from McLaren and Jean-Pierre Lalancette, who used the C3 compound, and every other drivers used the C4. So can you maybe enlighten me on what happened in the quality? They decided to take the medium tires instead of the soft, or did you guys have to start on the compound you use in quali at that time, or?
Yes. So the rules changed. Okay. Yeah. So I made a complete fool of myself in front of millions of hundreds of viewers. One of these broadcasts by saying that the drivers had to start on the qualifying tires, and that's because I raced last year, and last year you did. So this year you do not. So that would be the reason why. And again, Monza is a good place usually to try it. We used to have trying to do qualifying on the hard tires, because obviously if you have to start on those tires, it's a good thing.
You got an advantage. Well, they started on the medium, and they did a decent time. I mean, they were not last with this compound. They were 6th and 7th, so that's pretty decent. The warm-up is on. There's 3 minutes 40 seconds left before the start of that race. So we remind you that you're watching the 13th round of the SimRacingHub F1 Championship on RFactor2. You're live on GTCQ TV. François Goulet, Matt Hartley, you're somewhere, and we are sponsored by Color Magic Printing.
Quality printing services and fast turnaround you can depend on, Francois.
Damn right. And so, first corner, we mentioned it. Now it's getting more exciting because we're 3 minutes away from that. No, sorry. 4.5 minutes away from that start, because we got a warm up. There's gonna be a warm up lap.
Well, I love the warm up.
Yeah.
Love it.
And speaking of crashes, our friend Marty Simon from the F1 podcast he sent me in Messenger a link for his YouTube channel, and guess what? We saw the safety car crash at the Parabolica. So the Aston Martin car, driven by Bert Nylander. Sorry, I was looking for his name. And so he crashed the car at the Parabolica. So he spun the car, and the car just went through, the outside and the sand, and then hit the tires. I doubt that the car will be smashed like a Formula One car would, because it's tougher built, but it's built tougher. Sorry, but I mean, you rarely see a safety car, crash like that. Well, not in Formula One.
Yeah, I've seen the IndyCar one, because
the Corvette one
of those Corvettes.
The Corvette one. I think, wasn't that in Long Beach? Yeah. Or it was a track like that, maybe.
I think I've also seen one year. I think it was when they did the either the 2-seater IndyCar or they had the old IndyCar driver or some type of a superstar driving the IndyCar in front of the other cars, and he crashed it. And I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
At some point. So, but yeah, not usually. I mean, how old is Bert now? He's going to be getting old now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but I, you know what? I thought that there might have been something wrong with the car because you have never seen him do something like that. Oh, and why I see Argenis Riera crashing in the warm-up at the second chicane. I'm touching wood.
Did you see something wrong with that car too?
I saw an Aston Martin crash during warm-up. So I mean, I don't know for the safety car this morning. It might have been just a warm-up as well. So I'm just gonna touch a little wood here. But speaking of safety car to crash, that Corvette in IndyCar is famous because he really puts it in the wall. Now at Laguna Seca, I think it was James Hinchcliffe, not sure, with a Honda Type R. Entering the pits at Laguna Seca, it's super sharp left-hander, and the wall is really close, so I think he went too hot, banged the car in the wall, and there's a BTCC, it's the British Touring Car Championship, crashed the car, got out of the pits, and somehow it's kind of a blind corner, and he tried to wait for the first place car, and the car just smashed him. So, I mean...
Sounds like touring cars.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I don't remember which driver that was, the Formula One driver back in the day. I'm going to get it back again. I think it was in this track, actually. Not sure that he smashed the driver's door while passing between the wall and the safety car because he had nowhere to go. But it was back in the day that Formula One was really unsafe. People were loose cannons as the warm-up ends, but if you guys see safety car crashes on YouTube, you'll have a lot more than probably what we just spoke about, and it's always entertaining, but it's still dangerous, you know. So,
and if you Google BTCC, British Touring Car crashes on YouTube, your computer will crash because there's so many of them.
But touring cars,
it's a good laugh.
Yeah, touring cars for me are always the best thing to watch because you got, you know, so much good racing, good racers, close racing, banging and bumping, especially the V8 supercars, not the recent ones, but the most ancient ones. I love touring cars, man. I'm a big fan of touring cars. Just
shout out to Daniel Kamish, a touring car driver. I raced against him a while ago, and glad to see that he's kicking around, and he's actually one of the names, or been one of the names at the front for a while. So
nice.
Congrats to him and to a few other guys out there. And now we've got Janos Megas-Revi, who, you know, he has two personalities, like Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? So Mr. Hyde right now is telling everybody, please take it careful, lap one, because he's also the commissioner of the league. So he's telling everybody,
see that in the
careful,
chat.
Be nice and safe. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Jekyll is going to get in the car and he's going to plow everybody into turn one and try and take the lead of this race, we hope. So it's definitely a thankless job that Janos does. And the insight that he now provides us, I'm going to go ahead and say it's too much, because now he's going through all of my results, and I don't like that because you know, I like to remember the good times. I don't remember the bad ones.
No, I kind of like that. It makes me feel better about myself, because when I got good results, I'm happy to brag about it. But you know, I've had my ups and downs. Everybody knows it. So now it's your turn to have your ups and downs. But last time I raced around here, I had a win. So for me.
Wow. Just retire.
Yeah, I could. And a last lap pass, by the way. So, and the cars are on track just doing the warm-up. So we're going to go through the grid real fast. So the grid today is sponsored by Color Magic Printing.
And the color that is magic today is green. Well, one of them, the Aston Martin of Argenis Riera, P1, 18.2, finishing a lap just for the sake of it, and then doing a parade lap at the end just to win the pole position award.
Oh wait, Josh Mills in the Red Bull for the Red Bull team in second position. So we have our usual suspects up front.
Janos Megas-Revi has been put into third position by the game, as always.
Yeah, it's his mandatory position, followed by Elise Tate better starting position than last week. We wish him good luck. No bad luck for this start.
Oh, it's time to go. O-double-T-O, Acosta, P5, McLaren.
Followed by Zeke Montero, the primary Mercedes driver. Sorry, secondary, I don't know what I'm saying. Sixth position for Zeke Montero, Mercedes driver.
Followed by C-O-O-P, Cooper, in the McLaren. Try that one out for once.
Well, followed by in eighth position by Richard WLC C-O-double-T. Never mind. Richard Walcott, eighth position. You go ahead with your...
Followed by Jean-Pierre.
Oh, yeah. Repeat that for me, please.
Jean-Pierre Lalancette, P9, Red Bull Racing.
Yeah. All right, top 10 now, wrapping up Bill Worrell for Ferrari.
Tony Mitsalis, a great start for him in the AlphaTauri P11.
Ricky Haney in 12th position for Williams.
His teammate, Sean Higgins for Williams, P13.
Stefan Broderson, number 22, in 14th position.
John, the captain, Cook, in 15th spot.
Cliff Van Leeuward from Quebec in 16th.
Getting hot. Juan Del Castillo in the Alpine P17.
Señor El Fuego. And followed by Jeff Hoppenheim in 18th position. And wrapping up
is another Aston Martin. It is Ricardo Sr.
All right, I'm going trackside to see the lights. I'm going to be watching the first positions. My camera's on Josh Mills, being sure to get everybody.
I'm going to try something else today. I'm going to watch just from the camera at turn 1. I've got the cars coming right towards me.
Oh, nice. Okay, you'll be able to see a lot of things going on. We're about to start. We're waiting on the lights right now. The green flag is waved behind. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out, and the race is on in Monza. Good start by Riera, and good start by Magasrevi as well. He might be able to gain a position on Mills. Mills protecting the inside. He's going inside.
He goes for it.
Whoa!
Got the third.
Oh, and Magasrevi didn't touch, but good. Well done by them. And look,
everybody's round.
Positions.
Everybody made it round the first chicane. Great driving from these guys.
And look at Magasrevi already on the attack on Josh Mills going on the inside at the second chicane. Magasrevi already up front of Josh Mills. Wow, well done by Janos.
What a start from Janos Magasrevi, Mercedes' finest Hall of Fame driver.
And look at that. Josh Mills is not letting him go away. He's going to have the slipstream. And remember, we don't have any DRS until lap 2, if I'm not mistaken.
1 lap earlier than it used to be. Again, that caught me out in front of millions of viewers earlier on this year. It is lap 2, not lap 3.
Look at that. He's right in his gearbox at Ascari.
Now let's take a look at the tires.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we got tires. I think Riera's on the mediums. And then I think Janos is on the softs. Here comes Mills is going to sit right behind Magasrevi.
Well, I think Magasrevi's on the hards, Mills on the soft, and Riera's on the mediums, and Mills almost lost the car.
He did. He almost did a Burt Mylander and put it into the wall at the Parabolica.
Yeah, look at Riera. Yeah, he's on the inside. But can Josh Mills outbrake him with the soft compound? Yes, he does. And Elise Tape is pointing his nose with the soft tires as well. Okay, so Magasrevi now is on soft.
Otto Acosta's right there too, so you've got to be with this front train. And here comes O-double-T-O on Tape. Oh, he's looking for a spot. Tape's going to go defensive to the inside already on lap 2, defending.
This is bunkers. Side by side at the second chicane. Acosta has to yield. He has to concede these guys
because Tape cannot afford to lose Riera's DRS slipstream because then he's going to be cannon fodder for O-double-T-O. So that was a mistake from Tape going defensive. He probably should have let Otto go. So long as you're in that first train, it doesn't really matter right now.
Exactly. If you lose time fighting, you'll regret it later on. You need just to keep that speed. And look, there's O-double-T-O overtook Elise Tape at before Ascari chicane.
So it didn't even matter, and Otto Acosta is on a man on a mission right now, and his mission is to get within 1 second of Argenis Riera, and let's see if he can manage to do it. Otherwise, the front 3 are going to be gone.
Well, if Magasrevi and Mills decide to, put up a fight right now, this is going to bring Argenis Riera in the mix, and look at Mills. He's got the DRS. I don't think he's going to wait much longer. He wants to get in front. Too. Yeah. Well, they all have. Look at that. It's crazy. Positions will change. And tire-wise, I said that Magus Revi was on the hards, but I had, of course, not the right information. Now that we have the good information, according to what we see, Mills is on soft, Magus Revi as well. Riera would be on mediums.
Yeah, but then you got medium. You got 3 guys on the mediums as a tape going around the outside. Oh, Montero crashed!
Whoa! Montero!
Tape's going to keep going. Montero's going to keep going, but it looks like...
No, Montero was still there. I think it's... who is that? There's so many things going on.
Oh, Tape was driving a Formula Ford. His rear wing ripped off, which was
Tape DNF!
Again.
That is so unfortunate. Twice in a row. Well, he lasted more than 20 seconds. You said it, but oh, goodness.
And that means that the front 4 are gone now. Otto Acosta's sitting pretty in P4. Who likes Otto Acosta for the win today, guys? Anybody, any takers?
I will. I mean, I would have him as my driver of the day, of course, if he wins it. But he has a great record here. I think he said he won it 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. So 22, 21, 19, if I'm not mistaken. But look at that. Yeah, Riera on Janosch. But Janosch has the soft compound. He can outbrake him. And look at that. Riera, wisely waiting. And OTTO is right in Riera's gearbox right now. So we're going to see a lot of position exchanges, and we had more position exchanges than we had in Zandvoort within 4 laps of this race, man. This is crazy.
Captain is off, so Captain's down to 18th now. Walcott fell down the board. I didn't see what happened to him. He's down to 13th. Jean-Pierre Lalancette up to 6th. He's somehow over to... Well, Montero was involved in that incident. But yeah, back up to the front. I can't express enough how good Janos was last lap at turn 1, because he had Riera under pressure or pressuring him. He went a little bit defensive, just to the middle, just enough to scare Riera off, but didn't lose any time to Josh Mills, who's trying desperately to break the stream by going as far over his left as he can. It's not going to happen, though.
Well, Riera is defending Otto Acosta, and I mentioned that Riera because I had a little bit of an emotion. Second chicane, last lap, Riera had a bad relaunch, and Acosta almost hit him in the gearbox, right behind. So Acosta's going to have him right now. Yeah, I think he will be able to overtake him on the break. Maybe no, pointing his nose. Just waiting a little bit. It's going to be next lap.
See the leader. Look at how close the leader is going through the first.
We got a group. Yeah, a great group of 1, 2, 3, 4 within 2 seconds.
This will be fine for Acosta because remember he would have just tried to be with that front train, and he's in a great position, P4 in this front train, and he's on the medium tires. So this is what's going to be really interesting. Josh Mills on the soft tires, Janos on the soft tires. So the 2 softs are in front, but they're not pulling away from the 2 guys on the mediums.
Well, look at the 5, 6, and 7 little train between Lalancette, Cooper, and Montero. They're close to each other. And for those who are watching us, me and Matt, we have an overlay. And when I mentioned that a car is in the, we see a lot of red, that means there's a lot of cars close to each other. And now our overlay is full red all over the place. So we don't know which battle to look. And we're going Magus Revi and Mills right now, because Magus Revi will take the first position right now at the Parabolica. Easy peasy.
And then here comes Mills to take it back from him. This is what it's gonna be like for a lot of the race. But yes, I mean the whole graphics are all red, and it's Monza, so Ferrari red.
Yeah, Ferrari, and we have Elise Tape on the chat while Josh Mills is regaining his first position and Acosta pointing his nose. Tape, we unfortunately, where was I meant to go, man? I don't know. I didn't see what happened. I think Matt saw that. I was watching something else, but we're really disappointed that you got taken out of that race again. So
Walcott just went up the inside of Del Castillo, so he's Castillo sideways.
Look, all the cars between 1 and 4 are bunched up. This is the accordion effect, and we see that little train for 5, 6, and 7 in the same camera angle that we see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I mean, I have tape in the chat. I know, I mean, it's super sad. And then on the other hand, we have that super exciting race that he's no longer part of. That could have been there. It's just devastating.
Riera's just overtook P2, and Magus Revi had to get out of the throttle big time just to avoid a crash, and now OWTO is going to be sniffing a little bit to Janis Magus Revi, but again, he has to be careful because you don't want a gap form in between the front two.
Especially not these two, yeah. But the problem is, Matt, is I mentioned earlier that if people fight, they tend to lose time. But in this track, it doesn't happen that much because they don't really fight. They just overtake themselves on the straight. So nobody loses time, really. And Riera just took the first position back from Josh Mills like it was nothing.
And Cooper just took P5 from Jean-Pierre. And Cooper, where's he going?
Oh, Cooper in the sand. On the outside, Glenn Cooper, unfortunate. Come back on track.
Worrell's going to be right behind him. Worrell's going to go past him. Worrell's on the hard tires on the Flintstone rocks. So Worrell's P7 having a good drive for Ferrari.
Can Mills take back that first position, not letting Riera go because they're on the soft compound. So they're at lap 7. Oh, Josh Mills in the sand. So this is going to cost him.
You can't touch the sand there. I thought the race was going to be over. I told you, the second Lesmo is the most dangerous turn on this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that.
You just can't dip your toe in that sand because it might bite you one time. So Mills gets away with one. He'll be okay with losing the spot to Janos so long as he's still going. But there's a 1.3 second gap between Riera and Janos. So Riera has bolted because of this. So now we will have to see.
He's gone.
Mills is going to have to be very strategic here because he's obviously going to need to pass Janos, but he needs to also slipstream his way towards Riera. So these guys cannot lose any time fighting because Riera...
Well, look at that. OWTO, can he take the position again? Or they're so close to each other.
That's so hard to do as well, to break that lead in one of these cars. But again... Acosta, the smartest thing that he can do right now is actually not go for an overtake because, again, they cannot afford that gap to open up between Riera and Mills. The gap is coming back down again slightly. So let's take a look and see. Mills needs a good lap here. You have to get back into that DRS zone.
I think Riera will just sail away. Because now all the other drivers, they're on the nervous end. They need to do perfect laps in order to get back that slipstream. And Riera, he's just so...
And remember, Riera's on the medium tire too, so...
Yeah,
If Mills should have the grip at this point to still be able to catch Riera up. However, if he uses those tires to catch Riera up, Mills is going to have to pit earlier than he wants, and he's going to have to put on the hard tires. Riera, of course, went medium, so he's definitely going to try and go the softs the second time around. So this is going to get very, very interesting. Mills did catch up slightly, but not enough to get into the DRS zone.
Yeah, he's going to have softs. If he puts softs on, he's going to have soft with a lighter car, so probably be able to do more laps on that compound than... Oh, Mills! Through the chicane, almost lost the car. I don't know if he can have damage out of that. He jumped on the sausage while OWTO is chasing Janos, and Otto Acosta might be able to overtake at the next chicane, or Janos might be able to overtake Mills. So, I mean, Magus Revi, he's on the attack, but he has to keep an eye behind him for the defense as well.
So Acosta's been very patient here and not wanting to lose the lead of the race. Well, guess what? The lead of the race now is gone. So now it is time, because Mills has made a huge mistake that lap. Two seconds now, the gap. Now if I am Otto Acosta or Janos Magus Revi, if I've got any pace, I need to start getting Josh Mills to go forward, and that's what they're looking at doing. They're looking at passing through Ascari now. So now they're starting to get more aggressive on Mills because they don't have the confidence that he's going to be able to catch Riera back up. So now it's kind of a get out of the way. We'll follow you, or you follow us, all the way back to Riera.
But Janos is playing the mind game right now. He's pointing his nose, and it's something I really like to do. It's just like always put your nose on the inside, make the other driver think that you're gonna try and overtake. Maybe a dive bomb happens all the time, and it makes the other driver make mistakes. While Magus Revi is using the slipstream and the DRS to easily overtake Josh Mills, and this is well done from Magus Revi.
Walcott's coming back through the field very, very quickly here. He overtook his teammate Bill Worrell. He's up to 8th. He's going to be all over the back of Glenn Cooper soon. So he's having a nice drive back up after really starting off slowly. Walcott's back in the series, so maybe not a ton of practice, and that's the reason why.
I want to point out, Matt. Yeah, I want to point out that we have a lot of other battles on the track. Glenn Cooper, Richard Walcott, we got Del Castillo, Higgins, and Haney behind, Ricardo Sr. and Cliff Van Lee Ward. They're all close to each other, as Cliff Van Lee Ward is overtaking Ricardo Sr. almost. No, not really, but he almost had it. Trying to inside on the second chicane. There's a lot of fighting going on, but we're keeping our eyes at the front pack because for the second
podium. Pass. Cliff Van Lee Ward. Oh, he almost pulled it up. I love a good pass into the first Lesmo. Coming out of that chicane, you line them up. That's a beautiful pass if you can get it done. But he didn't get it done, so I don't care.
Yeah. But look at that. Magus Revi, Mills, and Acosta within. Man, they're within half a second of each other.
But it's 2.8, 3.2 seconds to the lead now. It is time.
Yeah, Riera is just going away. I think these guys have already thrown the towel on Riera. But look at that. That was Mills so close.
Mills is going defensive on the inside. I'm really not sure what's going on there.
No, me neither. I think Mills could have had that line and kept it. But he was too scared of something that could have happened with Magus Revi. I doubt that Magus Revi would have ran into Mills. You could have gone side by side and do it very slowly, but Mills really let Magus Revi go before turning in, which was, I think, as dangerous as just going.
Yeah. So now Magus Revi is the lead of this second train, but he's not looking like he's able to pull out through the middle sector, which means Mills is going to go now for a pass on the inside of Ascari. And guys, you're just slowing each other down, guys. It's because although Mills gets back onto the outside for Ascari, getting back on the outside can be distracting. Acosta at this point is going to be sitting here like, where did Riera go? And the problem with Acosta is he's not able to make an overtake because the guy in front of him always has DRS from the other guy.
Exactly. He pointed his nose, but there was no speed advantage.
I think Acosta's got enough pace here to get in front of this train, and then the best thing that these guys can probably do at this point is give Janos a lap. Give Mills. Well, Mills is in front. He's already proved that he can't do it. So somebody else needs to go in front, and they need to give them a lap to see if they can try and catch up to Riera. So it becomes a bit of a game here where it's almost better to let Acosta go, see what pace Acosta has, and hope that he pulls you back towards Riera if you want to win this race.
So Riera 4 seconds already in front of Magus Revi. This, unless something bad happens to him, he's going to set sail.
So impressive to pull away. I mean, you can see right now that Magus Revi and Mills are overtaking each other every single corner, it feels like. It's so hard to pull away, and to pull out 5 seconds or 4 seconds around Monza, I can't express enough how difficult that is to do. And Mills now Mills is being strategic. He actually lifted off to Janos then. He didn't go for a pass up the inside of Ascari because he's realized, you know what, this is just going to get worse and worse for catching up Riera. Walcott up another spot. The Bermudan is on fire. The first of one Bermudans in the field. Richard Walcott, P7.
Well, there's a thing, though, Matt, and I feel like that. Once I knew that the guy in front is almost uncatchable as I see Mills overtaking Magus Revi again on the start-finish straight, and maybe Oldo Baltillo. Okay, Magus Revi defending. Sometimes you just accept the fact that you're not going to win that race unless something bad happens to the leader, and you're just trying to have fun racing your peers and just battling out for a whole 53 laps.
It is incredible. And here goes Magus Revi now around the
Look at that on the outside. Whoa, I like that. I like that. This is a great pass.
Mills is just having a rough first stint here because it always kind of feels like he's in the wrong spot at the wrong time because he has to go for a pass down the straight every single time, but then all of a sudden he's sitting duck in the middle sector.
Exactly.
And and then guys overtake him and he loses space. Again, he is going to have to lift off to Magus Revi, but Magus Revi is not catching Riera. 6 seconds I see now on the telemetry.
Oh, this is crazy. It's increasing every lap. Look at OWTO.
He's cooling his car, I think.
Exactly.
That's what Acosta's doing, and that's something that we should talk about, because these guys can choose to run whatever radiator they want. Now, it's a pretty close call between like a 30% or a 40%. Oh, as Mills goes into the pits.
Mills in the pits.
He's used those tires.
Yeah, he's gonna try something. I don't know what. Okay, 14 laps, maybe probably on hards. Yeah.
He has to. Surely, unless he's going to do a two-stop, and you don't want to do a two-stop around Monza, A, because of traffic, but B, because the pit lane is so long.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is going 300 kilometers an hour, and you're sitting still, so you want to...
But look, OWTO, with the medium compound on Janos Magus Revi, overtaking on the inside, not quite. Acosta wisely waiting.
Now has been released, because now he can actually get into second place. So this will be very interesting to see how much pace Acosta now
Mills
has.
is back in traffic as well, by the way. He's squeezed up between the Lawnmower Man and the two Williams drivers, let's put it that way. But no, okay.
Soft tires again? I see softs again. I'm just...
no, I see hards on my screen.
Okay.
For Mills.
That makes more sense. Yeah, now they switched over to
that would be the wise choice, but you and I both know that we need to wait maybe a lap to have the proper information.
So now Mills is in a lot of trouble, because now Mills has got the new hard tires on, which the hard tires are not as good as the other tires. But Acosta and Magus Revi now are going to be able to actually work together and continue to stream and draft. Look, Acosta's pulled out that gap already. Here comes Janos, but hopefully Janos won't go for a pass. That's he does.
It's
a silly thing to do, honestly, because
look at that, and he's slowed a lot.
It's just silly.
Did they touch?
It just you should have let Otto have a lap and seen what pace Otto had, because you're just playing into Josh Mills's hands now. You can eliminate Josh Mills from this race if you guys work together for a few laps. This is just not working out well, and it's they need to switch up the strategies. I get that you're racing, you want to be ahead, and maybe Janos is a little bit surprised by the pace of Acosta, but he shouldn't be. He's got the stats to say that Acosta's won this race before, so...
Oh, wow, look at that. Acosta, but the thing is, with Acosta, like Magus Revi, like you say, should have waited, because he can keep his tires a little longer. Now he's fighting with him, and he's jeopardizing this tire compound, probably, reducing his lifespan. We might see him going in the pits right now, like Mills just did.
Yeah, lap 15, it's going to be almost in the window. I mean,
and look who's coming. Laps. Zeke Montero.
Yeah, because these guys are messing around.
Exactly. You're right. Exactly.
Montero all of a sudden is just like, hey, I'm
here. Hello, guys. What's cracking? So look at that. Magus Revi. What did I tell you? Magus Revi in the pits.
And he's going to come out right near Josh Mills. So will Janos, Magus Revi, and Mills work together?
We'll have to keep an eye on this.
What pace does OWTO have? Let's take a look this lap, because we've got Acosta.
Mills is in the Parabolica right now. So Mills in the Parabolica. I'm looking at Magus Revi getting out of the pit. Mills is going to jump him, leapfrog a big time. Wow.
How did that happen? Oh, yeah, Magus Revi must have...
You know how that happened. You said it. Oh, and Magus Revi clipped the line a little bit before the end.
Just a little.
What can happen with that? Yeah, just a little.
I think it's borderline. I think you definitely are not supposed to do that. Did they do it to gain an advantage? I don't think so.
No, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't do it again. That's for sure. So if I was his pit boss, which I'm definitely not, I would be telling him not to do it again. I would have been yelling at him what happened the last lap, because let's see OWTO versus Riera this lap. They both have clear track. Riera's lap time. What is he going to put in here? Let's take a look.
Well, we
23.6 for Riera, and OWTO is going to do a 23.4. So Acosta has the pace to catch up Riera if somebody was to help him with the draft. And this is what these guys should have realized, that Acosta caught them up from back of the grid. He obviously had some pace. I would have let Acosta try for a lap or two at the front of the train, sat behind him with my soft tires, and just gone a little bit longer. So let's see what can happen now.
And yes, we have to keep an eye on Otto Acosta, Zig Montero, and Janos Magasrevi, because when the pit sequence will be done for, well, Magasrevi's done, but for Otto and Zig Montero, we'll have a nice portrait of where they at on the race. And I'm used to that when I watch IndyCar. Some are on the primary, some are on the option tires, so they have different windows of performance. Now we have that here with Otto Acosta. If they just use the soft and the mediums, or the soft and the hards, there's going to be a one-stopper, and that's what we want to see, exactly how it comes down with the tire strategy.
So Mills has been doing 23.6, matching Riera's times on these new hards. So new hards and worn mediums are fairly similar. But Mills did a 21.999 coming out of the pits. That's how he managed to jump Magasrevi. I wonder whether Mills saved the Urs battery and used it on the one lap, because it was a very...
Perhaps.
Riera's in the pits.
Nice. I had to mention that I saw Stephen Broderson and Jeff Oppenheim, the two Alfa Romeo drivers, going head to toe.
And the leader of this race is Ezekiel Montero from Otto Acosta right now. Obviously, Riera just pit, but Riera actually pitted very early off of those medium tires. Like,
you're right.
Lap 18 on the mediums is not good. So he's put the hard tires on. So maybe.
Is that it?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, okay. I see mediums now, but I know I don't have the proper information, I guess.
Yeah, so he's got to be on the hards. He wouldn't go mediums again because...
Yeah, no, I doubt it. I doubt it. This wouldn't make sense at all. But in my screen, it is a yellow band, but I doubt this is it.
No, I got the hard band.
You got the hard on yours? Okay, good.
Yes. Probably not a good thing to say on air, but yes.
Yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry.
But I'm still looking. Is leading this race, and Acosta is in P2. So the two guys who've won this race the most, this is the 10th year anniversary of SimRacingHub racing around Monza. The two guys who have won the race the most are in first and second place right now and looking great.
And yeah, Riera hard compound confirmed.
And here comes OTTO to retake the lead.
For the lead.
They're working with each other, ladies and gentlemen, and they're doing it better than I've seen other people do it. And they're both on the medium tires. They're both making the mediums go a little bit longer. These guys are pulling themselves into contention here. Are those tires going to hang on? They definitely are. I see Montero with a 22.9.
Yeah, so wow.
These guys are drafting each other very, very well.
Fastest lap, Josh Mills with under 22 with a 21.999.
So this is going to get interesting. We haven't talked much, by the way, about the Urs battery this year. It's very powerful. I did some laps and kind of got familiar with this mod, dusted off the old dusty steering wheel, and I think I have like the G21 or something. It's like so old. But I dusted it off, and I was shocked at how powerful the Urs is. So these guys will regenerate battery power through the braking, which obviously not too many times to brake here. So, so literally, it might take you 2 laps to regenerate 1 full lap of Urs, and it's worth a lot of time. You're talking seconds. So that's why I think that 21.9 came from Josh Mills. It's got to have somewhat to do with the battery life, because he's now a 23.1 and lapping slower than the leaders.
And how does it work exactly? Do you have like if you're hard on the brakes, it really recharges
well, this is the debate that I had with Janos, because that's not what I saw. I saw that when it's either charging or not charging is what I saw. So you have to hit the brakes hard enough to have it charging, but then so long as it is charging, it doesn't matter how hard you hit the brakes. So there's a few drivers out there that this year might be running lower brake pressure in order to be on the brakes longer in order to generate and charge.
Oh, that would be okay. That would be wise.
Around this circuit, it definitely might work, but you know, at the end of the day, sometimes you can get too clever and distract yourself with the games. I saw somebody else falling down the list. I think it was
Higgins, Magasrevi, and Haney. So Magasrevi is stuck between the two Williams drivers right now, but I think I thought he passed them earlier, so he has been fighting with them for a few laps now. This is going to slow him down big time.
This is what happens when you're not easy on the tires and you have to pit, is that
you get
you're
stuck in
out
traffic.
Yeah, and obviously the traffic is allowed to overtake you.
Yeah,
on
of
the
course.
lead lap. So Higgins can he's not going to not open the DRS because it's Janos Magosrevi. Like that's not how it works. You got that button available to you. And Janos, I don't know. the first left-hander through Ascari, Janos is just disregarding that turn, and he's got to be careful because it's looking like he's cutting it a little tight sometimes. Could just be it is hard to judge the turn in because he's going at such different speeds. If you've got DRS versus no DRS, of course, you're going into that corner at different laps. But the front two are working very well together. Let's see if they're still in the 22s. So 23-4 for
last, yeah. Same lap time for both, almost to the 10th.
23-3, yeah.
Mitsalis in the pits. Janos, Higgins is still in Janos Magosrevi's gearbox, and that's the thing. You don't see that much of a performance gap between the drivers on this track. And look at that, Higgins, he almost hits him. So that would be unfortunate if something happened between these two drivers, especially because on paper they're not racing each other.
This is what happens though, right? When Whoa! Jean-Pierre Lalancette just went for a Lalan ride through the Ascari.
He did a David Coulthard there.
I don't know where he was going, but no harm, no foul. It's okay.
Jose Montero on Acosta for the lead again, leapfrogging. I mean, these drivers are just leapfrogging each other, not slowing themselves down. They're about to lap Captain John Cook.
Yeah, they're doing it in the better spot. There's no doubt about that. So, and this is what we're saying about how much time you lose in the pits. Riera is 13 seconds behind the leaders. So you would normally think that like 20 seconds for a pit delta, right? As the back marker goes for.
And Montero's almost in the sand. And we got a good comment here by No Specifics because we were talking about, battery gen and everything. So she said some stuff. And so, time under, time under less pressure braking will regenerate it more than hard braking for short periods of time. Okay, so it's exactly like you say, brake longer on the longer period and you regenerate more. Also, braking on the longer period, according to my experience, you save your tires a little more. So
for sure. Especially, the other thing that is good is you can put the brake bias further to the front because you're running with a lower pressure, so you're less likely to lock up the front. Obviously, it's a lot easier to lock up the front than it is the rears. So, and the rear tires are the ones that usually wear down. So there's lots of things you can do. You can get a little bit too cute and clever, but it didn't take this old guy too long to figure out.
Josh Mills, Josh Mills on Bill Whirl at the Parabolica. So Mills is trying to get back on track, per se.
Now Mills
hard tires.
So Mills is 19 seconds behind the leaders. So this is
I think he will probably get back in second position when every pits are done.
Mills is caught up on Riera quite a lot because Riera's only showing as 5 seconds between him and Mills, and we knew that gap was much larger before the pits. So what is going on with Argenis Riera? Do we make a few mistakes? No, 22.8. So I'm not too sure what has happened there.
Depending, maybe it depends on traffic. Might be a traffic thing.
Yeah,
but it makes things very interesting.
Unless it was a super long pit stop for Riera, maybe.
Exactly. But look at Montero and Acosta. They created some sort of a little gap between each other. Montero has a 2-second gap over Otto Acosta. So Acosta probably did a little mistake somewhere. Still going with the mediums, not going into pits right now. So 24 out of 53. Do you think they're going to do a long stint on the mediums and maybe get the soft compound at the end?
Well, I think you'd need to go. It could be possible.
Maybe a 30-23.
You're going to need to go 30 for sure. to stand a chance. So
Señor Fuego grabbing almost grabbing your favorite position, the 11th on Lawnmower Man. So we got Señor Fuego and the Lawnmower Man chasing each other.
Higgins is going to defend that position with his life. Everybody wants to finish P11. Tony Mitsalis is getting points right now in P10. He's having a really good drive, and he's kept his nose clean.
Yeah, kudos to Tony Mitsalis for this race. So Higgins and Del Castillo, that's the only red that we're seeing right now, because we were seeing red all over the place early in the race, and Del Castillo got the slipstream. Not sure he'll be able to do it. That's really last minute. Sean Higgins braking too late.
Yeah,
cutting the chicane.
It probably should give that position back. I'm not sure that.
Me neither, because he was in front. So in real life, you would actually have to give that back. I think so, because you gain an advantage.
Yeah, but tit for tat. That's okay. It's for P11 and 12s, not for points. So it's maybe you get away.
Oh yeah, but I mean, rules are rules. You still have to imply them because we implement them, because you never know what's going to happen later on.
Now this strategy, for the front two guys now is starting to backfire a little bit, because
they're losing time,
wearing down. So they are losing time, and obviously they're not going to be doing one less pit stop than everybody else. So they're not like you're going to be gaining that time back in one big chunk. They're going to have to gain it back being on the soft tires, running faster, which is going to make the soft tires wear down more. So it's not looking so hot for the front two as we first thought, just simply because the pace of the tires seems to be kind of going away now. They're dropping into 20.
And Del Castillo on Higgins. And okay, so you got John Cook and Haney fighting, and Del Castillo and Higgins. So this is Alpine on Williams, and Williams on Alpine, which used to be partners back in the day. Williams, Renault, great partnership, many championships. So now they used to be friends, now they're foes, and they're fighting each other on track, and twice as nice in that situation.
I loved how you said Renault. Because the British would just say Renault.
Yeah, well, same. I don't know how I should say French stuff for English people. That's the thing.
I'll teach you. How about have you heard about the car company Peugeot?
Peugeot.
Peugeot.
A Peugeot. Yeah,
Peugeot. We call it. Yeah, it's definitely not what it's called.
Mills. Acosta in the pits. So OWTO in the pits. Where is he getting out? Oh, right behind Magus Revi.
Now it shows red tires for me, but I think that would be bold for him to go red. So I'm guessing he's going to switch to red to.
We never know. We never know.
He does come out behind Magus Revi. Bill Worrell's still going around, but he started on the hard tires. So.
You know that Peugeot also make pepper mills.
Did not. Surprisingly enough, my knowledge of Peugeot is almost nil.
They make bikes. They make bicycles. They make pepper mills. They make cars.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that.
They make the best pepper mills. Sorry, I like cooking. I'm like Captain Cook. I like to cook, and I'm like Josh Mills. I like pepper mills. That's it.
And do you know what Peugeot don't make?
No clue.
Quality printing services and fast turnaround that you can depend on. You know who does? Color
Magic Printing. Yeah. Well placed. So Higgins and Del Castillo still fighting, and Haney and Cook still fighting. Haney just grabbed the 16th position from John Cook, and Magus Revi and Otto Acosta close to each other, not quite enough.
Some boring drives out there now for these guys. That they're not racing anybody. Walcott's just waving to the fans in the Ferrari in P7. He's not near anybody. And Jean-Pierre Lalancette, he's also not really racing anybody right now. Cooper hasn't raced anybody for a while.
Yeah, he's in no man's land.
Yeah, and Mitsalis, I don't think will be racing anybody unless Higgins or Del Castillo can catch him up. But these guys are fighting each other for P11.
Well, he's in the points, so he's got that, odd 10th point. He's in the point. Yeah, sorry. And no specifics. Said Peugeot is definitely an interesting pronunciation. Yeah, Peugeot. Peugeot. It's French.
It's also
like
it's also
Renault.
a strange sounding car. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Have you heard when you turn one of them on? Like it's a very rough sounding car, but they very very popular with the youths.
Yeah. Well, been to France, and there's a whole lot of Peugeot and a whole lot of Renault all over the place. And there's a nice movie called Taxi. Not the one with Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon. Don't get me wrong. The French version, and they tune a Peugeot 406. Sorry, I was about to say 406. So they tune a nice Peugeot 406 from 1998 back in the day. And it sounds very great. It sounds great. I mean, you should see that the French version of that movie way better than the American crap that they did.
Definitely will. I've seen the American one, and it doesn't crack my top 500 movies list. So
definitely
just fell out. 501 actually is where it came. So
it's exactly the same thing. Yeah,
is on the Reds. Acosta's on the Reds.
He is. It's confirmed. He's on the soft compound.
So here's my thing. Has Otto Acosta lost his mind? Because let me tell you, he did 26 laps on the harder tire, which is not quite halfway, okay? And then he's put the softer tire on, and he wants to go longer than he did on the medium tire. So I'm not sure about that one.
On that token, he has won that race 3 times, so he might have tried something bold. It might have worked in the past. Other than that, maybe he's aware also, since he's lighter, he knows that he's going to go a longer streak. I'm
going to tell you something here. Yeah. I have a natural ability of making guesses, and this is not going to work. That's what I'm going to go out and say.
Okay.
So I think
I'm a believer. That's why I want to believe.
It's not going to work. But Montero can put the softs on because he's lap 29. He's still out front. He's done a very good job. We haven't talked enough about how good of a job he's done on those medium tires. He's going to go 30 laps. Montero will be able to do the Acosta strategy, no problem, but Acosta's going to need, I don't really know. And the problem is for him to get those tires so long, he's going to have to just be sitting in somebody's draft and not trying to overtake them.
Well, that's what's happening right now. Janos is in 4th, Bill Worrell is in 6th, and Otto is in 5th, and Acosta right behind. Acosta doesn't look very worried about the tire.
He should be worried.
Yeah, but now he's Worrell because he's going in the slipstream of Bill.
I'd be worried about passing Worrell.
Pointing his nose, but he has to do it. He has to do it now if he wants to take advantage of that fresh soft compound. It's going to happen now. Does he have the slipstream? I mean the DRS here. I think they do.
He will do. Yeah, he will do. But will Worrell have the DRS? He will not because he's further behind. So.
No, not Worrell, but Otto. Well, definitely here now.
Breeze by here. Yeah, this should be easy. Let's see what other action is going on while that happens. Glenn Cooper, Acosta's teammate, has got the hard tires on, so he's not even convinced with Acosta's strategy. So I'm not going to be convinced.
I'm a believer. I want to. I'm rooting for Acosta on that strategy. I'm a big fan of both strategies, and also the physics has changed a lot in my game, Gran Turismo. So over the years, I was able to save tires or not, depending on the physics. But I was once known as the tire wizard, and I'm a big fan of drivers that can really make a set of tires last longer than the usual suspects.
For sure, me too. And that man is out front right now. Ezekiel Montero.
Yeah, Zeke Montero is doing it the right way.
He's easy. I don't know how much he's got left. Now, obviously, he's losing time now from this. But remember, Montero wasn't with the front pack until they started messing around.
You're right. Oh, damn right. Yeah.
He came from nowhere.
Now he's in the pits. Now he's in the pits. So Zeke stretched that. He did his last lap was a 124. Sorry, 120. No, sorry, 128. Okay, no, that doesn't count. So that the lap before this one was a 124 something. Now 128 is because he slowed down in the pit, so it's irrelevant. Let's see where he comes out.
So he's going to come out behind Acosta, and again, staying out on those tires longer.
Okay, Trevi, Acosta, but now he's got a fresh, set of stickers, probably softs.
Yes.
Yeah, I
it's gonna be
would
soft.
doubt that it would be other.
100%
Yeah,
soft, yeah. And the thing is, he's only got to go 22 laps, which
yeah.
22 laps is definitely possible. 26, 27 laps. It might be possible for Acosta, but I just don't see how you can do that and overtake 3 cars to win this race. Like it's gonna be. I think Acosta's fighting for 4th place here today now.
You're right.
With that strategy, but you know the top 3 guys, Riera, Mills, and Mills. We haven't said enough about Mills, but I think he looked a little shaky the first stint, but since then he's really calmed it down. He's actually closing in on Riera, which is very impressive on these hards. He's looking to go to the end. He's got his head down. He's pulled away from Janos. He's a long way away from Janos. And the other thing is he's going to still lead this championship even if he doesn't beat Riera today. So Mills will want to win this race. He won the race last year. He's behind a back marker right now, and you can see he's going to even try and draft him. Now, you do want to pull out sooner rather than later because it does scare the life out of you when the driver lifts off.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But he's
Mills, he's doing a great job.
5 seconds. Oh, little wiggle on the relaunch here. So 5.96 seconds. Josh Mills behind Riera. The accordion effect is stretching. Now it's 7 seconds. 7.5. What is going on?
Yeah, you'll drive yourself mad with that. But also the ERS usage does not help things because you can see lap times will get pretty inconsistent. But what's interesting about Mills is the way he's using it. His lap times are very consistent. So 22, 5, 7, 6, 8, 6. So potentially Mills has found out exactly how much he can use per lap. And have it generate that same amount. And rather than, have one really good lap where he uses it all and then he regenerates, I think that's what he's doing. Let's see what Riera is doing. Riera is similar, so these guys are starting to figure it out now.
Zig Montero and Bill Worrell in the fight. And Montero is arriving like a mad train.
Gonna go right around the outside. He's not gonna slow down Bill.
Easy peasy in the Variante Michele Alboreto.
Get out of the way, William Worrell. He's having a great drive, by the way. Bill Worrell, he's the P6, but he's on the hard tires. And he's still got. Again, it may seem like, yes, he's on the hard tires. He's done 33 laps, but it's easier said than done to do 33 laps on.
Back marker there. Oppenheim getting out of the pits and also getting out of the way. He's the new lawnmower man here. John Deered his way through the first chicane, but wisely done. Hoppenheim. Do we have a German tractor company that you think about?
I only think about Color Magic Printing, so.
Yeah, I don't think they do lawnmowers, though.
Not yet?
We never know.
Not yet.
Well, they might be able to.
What about Peugeot? Do they do lawnmowers?
I think so. They might. They know how to do engines. But you could paint probably your lawnmower with Color Magic Printing Services. They go.
Nicely done.
That would be cool.
So the Ferraris, Tifosi's not exactly going to be, super happy, but they're P6 and P7.
6-7, yeah.
All right. And, and I think they're both on the hard tires. So I think Worrell still has to pit. Walcott doesn't.
So now Montero in 5th position with the fresh tires. Otto Acosta will be at some point maybe a sitting duck because he has maybe around 6 tires more on the more wear than Zig Montero. He has wear to tires 6 more laps, 7 maybe.
Yeah, which is a big deal on the soft tires, of course. Not such a big deal on the hard tires, but on the soft tires.
Definitely.
That's a big deal. So I was actually taking a look at Cooper because I was a little confused, where his pace was and why he wasn't up near the front. And I was going to rip into his lap times, and then I saw 3 laps in a row of a 23.161, 23.156, and a 23.176. So, you can't complain with the consistency.
Yeah, that's excellent.
That just shows P8 is not an easy. It's not easy to get P8 in SimRacingHub, Francois.
I agree with that. And also, you mentioned the consistency of the the battery use. being faster if you use it the same amount every lap, and if you get that sweet spot instead of just going, all in, all out.
There is something else that we haven't talked about, which is fuel. It's a little tight around here to make the end on fuel, especially if you're using the battery. And you also have different engine modes that you can turn up and turn down through the race, of course, too. There also is going to be a chance of some explosions from engines.
Oh, Acosta and Montero, sorry to cut you, but they're fighting. Keep going.
No, that's fine. Like a good fight, Montero's going to try and get him back. These guys are on the sticker red. So Montero's now in a better position than Acosta is because his tires are 6 laps younger. But he has to be patient here. He's already got into collision once with Elise tape going into the chicane.
Yeah, he should make he should make short work of Acosta in the following corners or in the following lap at the maximum. Yeah. I was mentioning that he had better tires, but I wasn't expecting him to be so close that soon.
Yeah, so we might see a few engines blow today, so we should probably keep a permanent camera on Del Castillo.
Yeah.
Because
we got Brotherson that got this out of the race, and we don't know why exactly we missed that. But we were so absorbed by the battle for first positions at the start of the race. Now some battles are unfolding before our eyes, while Montero, he's waiting, and I think that's clever because if you overtake before the Parabolica, you're going to be the one being overtaken right now. And if these two drivers can work it together, they might be able to catch Janos.
Yeah, I think Acosta's just going to kind of sit here behind Montero. The thing is, Montero, if you do a pass down the start-finish straight, you now have the best chance. You've got about 3-4 corners to pull out enough of a gap to where you don't get overtaken going into the Ascari chicane. So that's really the next place of danger. So we'll see. It's all about how good he does this chicane and the Lesmos, which Montero does not do as good as Acosta does because he doesn't touch any of the curbs. So we'll see through the Lesmo, watching on board with Acosta, just dipping his toe in the inside groove. Second Lesmo, dipping toe again, and Acosta's going to catch right back up to him, and he's probably going to stick with him for a little bit here.
I got the onboard as well, just trying, and you see at the end of the straight how much he catches him, and doing a good Ascari. But Montero created a little gap here. I think he got Ascari better than Automotive.
He did, and Montero's going to get lucky here because he's going to get the DRS from the back marker. So I think he will anyway. He might do. So that might help him on this fight for Acosta. Really, you have 1 lap to break the DRS. If Acosta manages to pass Montero this lap, then these guys are just going to go back and forth until the cows come home, which the cows have not come home yet. I've been waiting for a long time. So that didn't happen. So that's a good news for Montero. That means that there's a chance that he could pull away.
But look, there's Captain Cook right now, the back marker. So it could play in Montero's hand having that slipstream, but it can also doom him.
Yep, you got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm on board with Montero, but Cook is acting like a gentleman, just getting out of the way. And I think Acosta made better work than Montero, overtaking Cook and taking the
question all becomes: this is great that Acosta can keep up with Montero, but how much tires is Acosta using to try and keep up with Montero? Acosta needs to keep the DRS because he then basically can take the corners slower, knowing that he'll catch up on the straight in order to baby those tires to the end of the race. But he's really, really struggling to stay on the back of Montero, who just looks like he just has enough speed.
Well, you're right about that. I think maybe Acosta should think long-term and points, because I said I'm a believer, but I know that maybe just 2 or 3 laps of fighting can jeopardize a strategy like that, trying to, beat a tire wizard and bring those baby back home. Now, it's not going to happen if you just think you can do something undoable. And as we talk about that, we doomed him. Auto Acosta almost lost him. He lost the car a little bit. And again, Osvarnad his way through the grass between the fake straight at the first chicane.
held it. That McLaren is still running.
Yeah, well, he kept his position.
Walcott's coming on a
Oh,
Costa.
yeah,
Because of that
exactly.
mistake, Walcott has found himself. So let's go on board with Rich Walcott because we haven't been on board with him yet. P6, and he's starting to come into his own. He's starting to get used to this car and used to this track, and he's been on those hard tires now for quite some time, so he knows what they're going to do. Acosta's got a back marker in front of him through the Ascari chicane, which is not a good place to have it. So we'll see if Walcott can get in Acosta's DRS this lap. If that's the case, this is going to get very, very interesting.
Well, Walcott negotiated that chicane perfectly, and Cook is letting him both driver pass.
Yeah, but Acosta passed the back marker before the DRS detection zone, I think, and Walcott did not. So I believe Richard Walcott will open that letterbox that says Ferrari on the back any second now. No, he does not. So that shows what I know. Nothing.
Well, that was a close call. But now look at that. I think it's the accordion effect, but Walcott, I mean, I was on board and he missed the relaunch at the first chicane, but he was getting closer to Otto Acosta.
And Jean-Pierre Lancet is behind. Oh, he's behind a back marker. I thought he was right behind Walcott, but he's not. There's actually almost a 10-second gap between the two of them. But he's still scoring points again for Red Bull. So is this? Yeah. So once again, does this mean that Red Bull is going to score more than Aston Martin?
Oh, definitely. I mean Mills, but yeah, I doubt that the 25 from Riera is going to be.
It's actually going to be 1 point difference right now.
You're right. You're right.
You know, again, even when Red Bull have a bad race, they still seem to, match. A bad race is second place, by the way, just so you know, for Josh Mills. Yeah. We
don't want to I would misdirect anybody. But yeah, Argenis Riera scoring wins is really helping Aston Martin, but I mean, if Lancet scored points, it just provides better odds for the Red Bull team, which is such an advance now that, I mean, Aston Martin can't do anything.
Probably go through the team standings because I'd be interested to know as well, where is Ferrari and how are they doing? Because obviously Walcott's missed quite a few races. They've had a few ringers in there that haven't really delivered too many results. Wall's been scoring, 2, 3, 4, 5 points each race, keeping them afloat. But are they racing anybody?
Well, yeah. Well, unfortunately, they're not racing the team above them. So I'm going to go through the order right now. We got Red Bull Racing in first position with 323 points, and they're 75 points over Aston Martin and Aramco Racing. So that shows you, while Otto Acosta's defending on Richard Walcott, who's passing at Ascari. We'll get back on the standings after that. So yeah, Walcott just overtook Otto Acosta, and that was that looked pretty easy. So I was saying Aston Martin in second position, 248 points. So that's not a lot. And look at that. You got Mercedes in third position with 217 points. So that's 31 points behind Aston Martin. But note that Zeke Montero and Magus Revi now is probably the best duo with the McLaren drivers, I would say, on this grid to score points. So we might see Mercedes snatching up that second position over Aston Martin in the following races if Aston Martin keeps doing that kind of results, which means good points on one side and nothing on the other. And McLaren F1 team is 192 points, so they're not far behind Mercedes. They could do something, but as I said, Mercedes I think is on the up and not on the down, so that's another thing. And Scuderia Ferrari is in fifth with 97, so that's a whole 100 points behind McLaren. They're not chasing the fourth position, but they will have to defend over Williams. Williams is in sixth position with 70, so that's 27 points behind Ferrari. But so far, the Ferrari drivers have been just a little more solid than the Williams driver. And since they're not scoring huge points, they're at the mid-pack. They're at the back of the points, so the points gaining is not important enough for them to maybe leapfrog and catch Scuderia Ferrari. except if something happens and they got like a great results and a great points gathering.
So yeah, Mercedes, you made a good point. I mean, they have two number ones right now. With Montero and Magasrevi, and they haven't tripped up on each other yet. They haven't caused each other any grief or any damage yet. They seem to never really be racing each other on track. Ironically, they're racing each other on track right now. Montero is on softs. He's closing down Magasrevi, who's on hards. So maybe we'll see a fight between these two guys on track for the number one position. I feel like Toto Wolff right now, if he was...
Oh, yeah.
He would basically be, this is the Rosberg Hamilton years, right? With a car quite as good as a Argenis Riera. But these guys, I mean, whoever puts the fastest lap up last lap is the number one driver in the team. That's the way that it pretty much goes right now.
Oh, I tried to practice my my Toto Wolff and my Gunther Steiner accent last weekend, so I'll come back with that later on.
One of them just is the same, but it's more explicit, isn't it? Which is good.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the crazy thing. Toto Wolff is really like he has that. I don't know if he's German or he's from Austria. I'm not sure, but Gunther Steiner is. It's even more pronounced than Toto Wolff. Like Toto Wolff speaks a little bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Gunther Steiner, like it's like he'd say 3 instead of 3, It's like so you get number 3 with Janos Magasrevi, and he's gonna have maybe a throat ache. He's gonna need lozenges to be able to speak. Yeah,
I think everyone's gonna miss him if he's not on the grid, and he's kind of the drive to survive pretty much made.
Definitely. They wanted to do. I think they wanted to do a series just with him.
Yeah, it's like the Flavio Briatore, right? It's like as a race engineer, he's probably not that great as a team principal, but as a person on the grid that can definitely. Now, one thing is interesting. Acosta has managed to hang on to Walcott's tail.
You're right. They're close to each other, so.
So we got Puerto Rico on Bermuda here for P5 and P6.
Well, I would definitely put my Bermudas to go to Puerto Rico.
There you go.
Well, maybe Acosta decided that I'm not going to fight him, but I'm going to try to follow him and get these tires to the end. Because look, there's 9 laps left.
Yep.
Oh, look at that! Otto Acosta slid a little bit, so his tires. The little skid marks right there, so you see that he's already struggling.
He can't though, because
you're good at.
He's not going to lose P7, I don't think, because Lalancet is 11 seconds behind. But if he pits, he would then have to come back through. We did see some late pits last race with the rain, but I don't think we're going to see that this time. And Janos Magasrevi is pulling away from Montero, so Montero's softs may also be going off now. So I think hards probably was the way to go. If you look at the podium, they're all 3 of them on hards, and that's good enough for me.
Well, that would be the smart and safe choice.
It's not exciting though, right?
Yeah, it's boring, but it's the safe one. Now we don't have much fights on track. You got Otto Acosta and Walcott. That's the thing we have to see, but I don't think they're going to fight right now. And Acosta is struggling with the tires. You got Haney and Hoppenheim for breadcrumbs at the rear. Not even breadcrumbs. I mean, just bragging rights of finishing in front of the other.
We thought there'd be lots of action, lots of overtaking, and there was. And then it's
the start of that race was just bunkers. It was crazy. And we got Wolf is Austrian like Red Bull from Marty in the chat. Yeah. So Total Wolf is Austrian. And look at that. So Richard Haney and Jeff Oppenheim tried to overtake Glenn Cooper. So what they're unlapping themselves on the 8th position, almost creating a crash right here. Okay, that's unusual.
That's not something you're going to want to see in your mirrors. It is
That
unusual. It can definitely happen, and you are allowed to unlap yourself. But
but I mean,
around Monza, that's not going to happen because
well, they're doing the Esteban Ocon, Max Verstappen, Brazil thingy right here. I mean, I agree you're allowed to unlap yourself, but to make another driver in danger, that's a bit sketchy.
So what we need to stop talking about Total Wolf here and pay attention to something. Walcott, he's flying right now. He's consistent and he's catching up Montero. He's in traffic right here at the first chicane, but he's catching up Montero. Montero's softs are going to go off. We know that. We've seen it from Acosta. And Walcott's hards are still hanging on. So Walcott's pulled himself all the way up to what looks like P4. And look at Walcott's last 3 lap times. 22.2, 22.2, 22.2. So
are you... sorry, are you stuttering or what?
Yeah, in a groove. He's definitely in a groove right now.
Hey man, I reacted just a second ago because I read the live, and Marty he has great infos about F1. Sometimes I have one new for him, but he has a ton for us. And he said that in fact Gunther Steiner is Italian. I'm sure it's true. I mean, he was probably born in Italy. We never know. Of course, he has a German name, and he's probably raised by German parents.
Can you imagine him as the team principal of Ferrari?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That would be wild.
Yeah, I'm sure that information is 100% accurate. If Marty says it on our chat, it is accurate, I'm sure. And he's a German. He's a German. He lives in America. But I'm Italian, so yeah.
This is a
you know what? I would love to, if he's Italian. If he was born in Italy. Oh, look at that!
He's in the pits. He's throwing the towel. The stuffs would go 20 laps, and they went 20 laps, and now where are we now? We're in P8. We're falling. We're gonna say P8.
P8. So. Well, this should be interesting though. He might be able to do the fastest lap, and he's going to be chasing his teammate. So this is going to be exciting. All right, thank you. Well, thank you for making things exciting because it was exciting at start, and now you got Walcott and Montero in the same zip code.
Yep, they should be in and around. Yeah, Walcott's going to be almost in DRS range, and we know that. So Acosta pitted 6 laps before Montero did, and his tires just went, and there's 6 laps to go. So Montero is going to be able to make the end of this race, but he's going to be running on rocks at the end. So Walcott probably be best to actually be a little bit patient here. He doesn't need to make this pass right away, unless he thinks he can go and get.
Well, he's the right. Wow, look at the speed he has.
Yeah, here we go. Ferrari power.
Forza Ferrari.
They could get a podium here today.
Yeah, well done by Walcott. And we had Dave Carney saying on the live, Walcott is always quick. Well, he's showing that today. He's splitting the two Mercedes driver.
Did you just say Dave Carney? You are talking about the ghost, David Carney.
Yeah, Dave Carney.
Dave Carney, racer in this league for many, many years. And we called him the Ghost because there'd be a lot of crazy things going on in a race. I actually remember Monza was one of them where, I was flying and making overtakes and pitting and this and da-da-da. And all of a sudden, at the end of every single pit stop I would come out behind David Carney. And it's like, how did he manage to do that? How did he manage to? So he's just always been a very, very smart driver with strategy and very consistent, and he's always in the points. So good to see Dave still kicking around in this league. It's a name that I've missed in my life.
Nice. Well, he's on the chat. I haven't seen him, I think, from the start of the season, and we had 16 viewers on the live today. That's what we have in right now. Also, I said I thank the other viewers that are watching us after the facts, not live. We had 200 views on one of the previous races. So I'm gonna look up for that because it's always fun knowing that we're being watched. And thank you for tuning in, even if it's live or later, because you don't have time tonight. It's always very very appreciated on our part. On the
Yes.
So on behalf of me, Matt, and Jas in the booth, let's not forget Jas because he's the one showing you these great images and doing that great montage. He's our producer, and you can feel his touch because he's a pro.
If you had me on the cameras, there'd be a lot of and then this, and you'd see tree and ambulance, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be very probably not a good idea to get me on camera. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'd be like looking at the different race, or probably not a good idea. So
he's helping us a lot because we can just enjoy the race and talk about it. Because I said it earlier, I drove around 2,000 kilometers in 3 days lately, so I wouldn't be in the driver's seat tonight. I didn't want to drive. I'm not racing. I just can't drive anymore. I'm just glad to enjoy that race. And look at that, Walcott and Montero still fighting.
Yeah, Montero is going to try and launch one up the inside on old tires because he needs track position because his tires are not that good, but it's not going to be that easy.
But look at that. By the way, I got to point out, Josh Mills has done the fastest lap with a 1:21.019 in the last lap.
Here we go. Here comes Walcott again. I mean, this should be like taking candy from a baby because he has the bad tires on, but Walcott's going to take his time here. He doesn't want to get caught up in an incident. He should be able to do a pass into Lesmo, possibly. I'm surprised that Montero's got so much grip on the rear because it's not stepping out yet, but we did see that does happen when these tires go off. So let's take a look at this second Lesmo. Very dangerous corner, of course.
Oh, good exit by Walcott here.
This should be easy past my grandma's house.
That's where she lives.
Maria, I think we call her. So, yeah, here we go. So, but now Montero's in a good place to get him back. Going into... So, Montero's racing a guy he shouldn't be able to race right here. He should not be able to race Richard Walcott right here because he's got the old tires on. But he is managing to do it on the old tires. So, let's see how this works out. There's only 2 laps left. We might miss Riera coming across the line if these two are fighting.
You're right. And Acosta is not catching Cooper with his new tires in the meantime. Montero on the inside of Walcott. This could go on for a while till the end. That's helping Magasrivi going away.
There was the Montero, and the thing is,
he has to go for it.
Walcott will have seen that and seen that, you know what, this guy's tires are gone on the rear. So Walcott's going to bide his time. Super patient driver. Walcott will just bide his time and wait. But the thing is, one thing we're not thinking about is what are Walcott's tires like? Because he's been on those tires for a long time. So maybe his tires are not doing so well either.
Yeah, we didn't take that into account because actually, do we know how many laps he has done on these tires? Not quite, right?
A lot. I mean, Walcott didn't go 15 on the first stint. I didn't think. He? No, I see.
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Oh no, lap 19. I see.
Okay, well that's not that bad if he's on hards. And the Marty said, I think everyone would like to see Steiner at Ferrari except Ferrari employees.
It can't get much worse than it is right now, though. It would.
Oh well, yeah.
Here we go. Walcott on Montero. Montero's giving him the little shake and bake, trying to hold off. It's 2 laps to go here. Walcott's not going to go for a late lunge into the first chicane.
He's going to wait till the last lap. But where's Riera? Oh, what happened?
Walcott made a mistake, and now he's on the ground, and I think that might be it.
That would be. That's 1 second, so he doesn't have the advantage of having the DRS anymore. And he just clipped the grass. What's happening with Walcott?
I don't know. He's struggling to...
Can he bounce back? Oh, that would have been such a great finish.
Acosta's in the pits again. Are we just... Does he just like the pits? What is Acosta doing in the pits?
I have no clue.
He's sat in the box. Is his engine gone? What is happening here?
I have no clue.
He's on the way.
But look at that. Walcott is back in Montero's wing. It's not over, buddy.
Oh, wow. So Walcott
What's happening to Otto Acosta? But look at that.
So much more pace than Montero does.
That's incredible. So he's exactly back where
fuel.
I don't know, but he's exactly back where he wanted. Richard Walcott in great position for the last lap.
Now, this is going to be interesting because Walcott's going to lead Montero around the last lap, which means Montero is going to have the chance to make a launch, and Montero will launch a pass on Walcott. So let's see if we can do this with side by side. Montero is not going to give it up. He's going to have to try and get out of this first chicane on these old tires.
Oh, that's a better exit that he just had. And look, Montero just slid.
Yeah, Montero can't get the power down. He needs to get through this middle section. If Montero can keep up with Walcott up until Ascari, he's got a chance. But getting out of these chicanes with these old worn soft tires is a real problem for Montero right now.
Oh, I don't think Montero has anything to show at Richard Walcott right now. This is not going to happen. While Riera is negotiating Ascari for the last time, Josh Mills, same thing. Magas Revi following not far, but not quite there yet. We still have Walcott in front of Montero, but Walcott is creating a gap, so it's not going to happen for Montero unless Richard Walcott makes a mistake here at Ascari. But no, well negotiated. Riera's crossing the start-finish line. Another win for Argenis Riera, following by Josh Mills, not far behind. 4 seconds now. And Janos Magasrevi.
Higgins is off. Higgins is off.
Where's Higgins? No.
He's in P10 and he's off. He's in
look at that.
The Costa went through the chicane. But the race is over.
The race is over, yeah.
Okay, I'm like, what is happening here? But Sean Higgins is not over. He's still racing.
I don't know.
Acosta's race is over.
You're right. Yeah, Higgins is still... What's happening?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Cliff Van Leeuwen is in my favorite spot. His race is over. Mitsalis is in P9. So maybe Mitsalis and Higgins had it coming together that we missed.
We don't know. It's incredible.
Mitsalis is going quite slowly. Very slowly, actually. But
this is really confusing when it happens like that.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be how it finishes because Worrell's
exactly.
Finished, so we're just waiting for Mitsalis to cross the line. Which
he's getting the checkered. We don't see the marshal waving the checkered flag. Now Higgins is passing by. No.
That's so crazy. Otto Acosta is already back in the pits, finished the race, and Higgins hasn't crossed the finish line yet. This is interesting.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. Oof. What a finish now.
Josh Mills, crucially, by the way, finished 5.5 seconds behind Riera. Why I say that's crucially is because if there was some type of a time penalty for Riera for either cutting or something like that, a 5-second penalty would still have him win the race. So little things like that we're going to make a note of.
Yeah, I think he crossed the finish line. You said 7 seconds in front.
5.5. So
5.5. Yeah. Okay. Because it was around 7 seconds at the end prior to that. But when the first place crosses the finish line, then the gap reduces between second, and what I'm seeing on the overlay does not reflect what really went down. So Matt, an eventful race, especially at the start, and then after the pit stops. We were waiting for a few battles, but tires, and also what happened to Otto Acosta.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure.
I understand the extra pit stop.
Yeah, well, we knew that was going to be the case, and whether because he wouldn't have obviously pitted again just to go for the fast lap because he would have been outside the top 10. So even if he would have got the fast lap, which he didn't get the fast lap, it wouldn't have made a difference. So I'm really not sure. Maybe some type of car issue, or maybe speeding in the pit lane penalty from when he did have to make the pit stop. We will never know until.
Yeah, but wouldn't he have to be? Would he have to serve that penalty right there, or he could usually you have maybe a 5-second penalty at the end of the race.
I'm not sure if
right?
the game does that. Yeah, I think the game usually you have to do it within a certain time, otherwise you get disqualified. That used to be again. So it used to be the way that it went. So we do have the podium finishes, and I think we've talked to these three guys before.
And I think it was not long ago.
Last week.
Let's just say the podium first. We got our Janice Riera in first position, followed by Mr. Josh Mills in second, and in third, Janos Magasrevi. So these drivers that we have here for the interview are actually solidifying their position in the championship. And that's pretty much it. So, guys, first of all, great racing. We had fun, and this was a real entertaining first set of laps. So, maybe first question. Oof. Tires, first laps, negotiating. I'm going to start with the winner, Riera. You lost 2 spots at the start. So, what was your thinking when that happened? Because you were on the medium tires, and then you had to get back on track to overtake these cars. So how did you see that? Were you worried, or you said this what I thought would happen, and I'm in control?
Hey guys, yeah,
Hey.
I knew this race was going to be very hard with the draft, so
We were amazed.
I had a good start, but I braked so early, so then I got damaged with a big touch. I don't know, maybe some luck. Then when I think safe tire, keep behind. And then when I saw some opportunity when Janos got off and could pass him and Joss, and then take advantage from the fighting with they. So in the second toss, saving tires, I didn't know if the hard tire can do it until the end. So that's it.
Well, it worked very well.
Yeah, it was a good race.
Really interesting. One thing that was it's so hard for us because we don't get to see, the saving the fuel, the saving the tires, the use of the ERS when you're using it, when you're not using it, the boost, the changing of the engine mapping. We don't get to see any of that, so it looks very calm from where we are. But like, how much was going on every lap? Like, how were you using the ERS, Argenis, and the battery? Like, did you use it the same place every lap, or was it, some laps you would use it more than others?
No, first laps I was using almost nothing because I knew then I'm going to need that. So then when I overtook Joss, I almost I had not battery almost 30-40%, and I was using maybe 5 or 10% per lap or less, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I saved fuel in that first lap, and then was enough.
Yeah, we were surprised. There was a point where you seemed like you lost time, but it was all under control and just managed. So talking to Josh now, congratulations.
At the end, I feel the wheel some weird. I thought my brake off. So
Oh no, that would be bad.
yeah.
And that's the thing. You're thinking about fuel and tires and then all of a sudden the brakes catch you out, right? So Josh, congratulations, P2, still leading the championship coming out of this. I mean, this isn't really damage limitation. P2 is a great result. You seem to really not get into the groove on those soft tires, and you only went 14 laps on them. And then as soon as you put the hard tires on, it was like a different story. And I just would love to know, how much longer could those hards have gone? Because you were on them for 38, 39 laps.
I think they would have lasted one more lap. They were getting pretty sketchy. Starting on the soft tires, I got the advantage off the start, which is what I wanted. got the pass done, and knowing that those guys are behind you, it's so hard to get away. I used all of my battery as soon as I got in front to try and pull a 1 second gap, and I was really close to getting out of DRS range, the cars behind. But then they caught back up. We raced pretty hard, really clean. It was fun.
Looked like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Made one mistake in turn 1, and lost DRS range to Argenis. So that's kind of where the race was lost, I think.
Yeah, we saw it, and we were. It was just the worst time for it, right? And that's just sometimes can happen that way, where one lap where you needed to stick on the back, but that can happen, right? And we were surprised, to be honest with you, at the end of the race there wasn't that much DRS zone stuff going on because everybody had managed to spread out, which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, it was. It was a quiet track to finish the race. I think I only passed one car, maybe 2 in the last half of the race. So nice and clean finish. Got the fastest lap I saw by a whisker.
Yeah.
And
that's actually that was a fair margin, maybe 1/10 of a second, but pretty decent lap. Even like a good driver, like I think it was Acosta with fresh soft, didn't do the work like that. He couldn't do a lap close to that. I think it was half a second from your time. So very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed it looked like the right move was to put the hard tires on. We were unsure about it because we had Montero coming back through with the softs, and Acosta had the softs, and there's a lot of different things going on. It turns out that the hards was the right move because all 3 of you guys put the hards on and are sitting on the podium here today. But was there a question or a thought of whether these hards are going to be any good, whether they're going to last long enough? Because that seemed to be kind of where the races were lost. I think Acosta's strategy was a little too wild, but it looked like Montero had almost timed it perfectly with it, but it still didn't quite work out for him at the end.
Well, yeah, the plan was to run the soft at least like lap 18 or so, but we had so much fighting at the beginning. So I saw Josh pitting early, and I had to get in early as well. I knew the hards were going to make it to the end. I actually had plenty of tires left. I did my fastest lap on the last lap, and I was very close to Josh. But I don't know. The first stint was kind of weird. Like sector 1, for some reason, I was catching Josh. Like I almost had to lift, to avoid crashing into him. But yeah, that second stint, the hard tires didn't work that great for me. I guess I was kind of slow at the Lesmo turns, but he was losing ground there. But yeah, they were good tires. I had to push at the end because I knew Ezekiel, he had fresh softs, but they were gonna give away at some point, and they did. Yeah. So my biggest concern was actually Richard Walcott. I mean, he was flying through the field.
Definitely, he overtook Montero pretty easily because they were there. He made a mistake 2 laps before the end. He was right there behind Zeke Montero, and he made a mistake at the exit of first corner. And then we thought it might be over, but he got back to him within half a lap and overtook him right after the Parabolica, which was the last start finish straight of the race. So, and then he created a 1.2 gap, maybe 1.5 gap till the end. So Walcott really nailed it. Sorry, at the end like that.
Your teammate too did you a really good solid by overtaking Walcott a couple of times and slowing him down. So he didn't.
I was telling him, you have to do something because this guy is catching me. He's gonna pass me like with 2 laps to go. I mean, it was all strategic here. Like, when do you make the pass? Because it's kind of like NASCAR. So you have to wait and get the DRS on the last lap and make the pass.
Yeah. Well, I got one question for you guys. Once you, and I asked this to Matt during the race, because once you see Argenis just pulling away, and your guys are fighting, and we see you fighting, which makes you lose time. What's your way of thinking? Do you think like, he's gone, and I'd rather have fun racing, or I just maybe want to get in front and try to break away from these guys and try to catch them, or what's going through your mind, guys?
I was kind of mad because we were kind of stupid doing that.
Yeah, well,
we said you
we
were.
should have helped each other
Yeah.
here. Like, let's beat our Jenny somehow, and then we were just slowing ourselves down. And he made the pass and disappeared.
That's why I got out of there. I was like, I need clean air, and I saw a huge gap, and didn't work out because of the lap traffic or cars who hadn't pit yet. I got stuck behind.
I mean, he was working the first few laps. He was working because we were pulling away from our Jennies. But then, a couple of mistakes here and there, and he caught up.
Yep.
Yeah. It looked like there was like I said, Josh, they had that one mistake, but then there was still time. There was still one pivot lap because there was a lap where you guys worked well together and you caught him up 0.2, and you look like you might get back into the DRS zone. And then a lot of it can come down to timing too, of when you catch each other up, and you have to make. I think there was a judgment call of whether to make a pass or not on one of you, and one of you then ended up launching up the inside, and it kind of put everything off, and then that was it. Argenis just put his head down, and I was really impressed that he managed to pull away on a track where obviously the draft and the DRS is so strong. So congratulations to Argenis.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Josh Mills, still leading the championship. And where are we next time?
Well, we're going to be in Azerbaijan on September 12th, so that's in 2 weeks' time. Don't miss it. This should be a nice race. Again, a lot of walls that you can crash in, and also that super long straight that you can almost overtake, back and forth on it. So we're looking forward to see you guys there. So thank you. Yeah, congrats on that race. That was a lot of action to unfold before our eyes, especially at the beginning, but at the end also a lot of good battles. So thank you guys as usual. Great show, great fun. We expected that race to deliver, and it did. Thank you everybody on the live. You guys were pretty vocal today, so it was fun to have you here. Thank you, Jas, in the booth for that great production. Thanks to our sponsor, Color Magic Printing, for sponsoring that race once again. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Matt,
driver of the day.
Who's our driver of the day? You know what? Richard Walcott for that.
That was an easy question.
Yeah. Richard Walcott, definitely. So for the Ferrari team, good job on his part, and he delivered at the end. That was the battle that we had to watch. So yeah, driver of the day, Richard Walcott on my part. And Matt, anything you want to say before we leave our viewers and our racers to go to sleep?
No, we will be back with you in Baku.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night, and don't forget to like Sim Racing, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Go look at colormagic.biz to see more about our sponsor, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good night. Ciao.